Recording in progress.
Recording in progress. Call to order the regular meeting of the Rio Dell City Council. Roll call, please.
Mayor Dorns.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Woodall.
Here. We have nothing to report out of closed session. Pledge of allegiance, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ceremonial matters. Proclamation honoring former city council member, Mayor Jack Thompson. Whereas Jack R. Thompson was born on May 31st, 1938 in Ogallala, Nebraska, and raised on an active cattle ranch in Arthur, Nebraska. And whereas Jack married his devoted and loving wife, Mary Ann, on November 5th, 1960, at the age of 22. And whereas after the 1964 Humboldt County flood, Jack moved his family to California to support and rebuild the community of Rio Dell with his uncle, Charlie Thompson. And whereas shortly after moving to Rio Dell, Jack began working and later managing 101 Auto Parts and was a devoted Christian, and in the 70s helped build his church, the Fortuna Church of the Nazarene, where he was an active and longtime member. And whereas in 1973, Jack went to work as a machinist at Pacific Lumber Company until his retirement in 2000. And whereas after retiring, Jack became active in Rio Dell city government and served on both the Rio Dell Planning Commission and the Rio Dell City Council from 2003 through 2016, serving as mayor from 2013 to 2015. And whereas during Jack's time serving on the city council, he also served on numerous boards and commissions, including Humboldt Waste Management Authority, Redwood Coast Energy Authority, Local Agency Formation Commission, Humboldt County Association of Government, Humboldt Transit Authority, and Humboldt Del Norte Hazardous Waste Response Authority. And whereas Jack was always there to assist the needs of the city and the community with his service spanning over many years. And whereas on numerous occasions, Jack pursued the idea of establishing a bottled water enterprise for the city's spring, but regrettably never succeeded in bringing it to fruition. And whereas upon his retirement on the city council, he was presented with a bottle of water to commemorate his efforts with a label that read, Monument Springs Bottled Water Company, Rio Dell, California, the world's finest natural spring water, and trademarked by the Honorable Jack Thompson, receiving a round of applause from the public for his efforts. And whereas on July 20th, 2022, Jack R. Thompson sadly passed away at the age of 84. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Garnes, on behalf of the Rio Dell City Council, hereby honor Jack R. Thompson for his passion, commitment, and relentless service to the community as a public official and a citizen of the city of Rio Dell. It is truly a pleasure to recognize someone who has given their time so selflessly to the community. He will be truly missed by everyone who knew him. Dated August 16, 2022, signed by Mayor Deborah. And I'm going to have their Julie present that to the family. Councilmember Woodall.
known Jack a long time, since our girls were like in sixth grade. And he has done so much for the city, and we're gonna miss him. It's Mary Ann.
Council member would like to, say anything, so, Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor Carnes. We moved to Rio Dell 44 years ago, and our daughter was in the same class as Julia Thompson and Denise Little. And we became friends with their parents, because that's what you do in Rio Dell. So we've known the Thompsons for 44 plus years. Probably beginning about the time Jack retired, he started recruiting people to get involved with city government. And he started begging me, probably not too long after 2000, Gordon, you need to get involved. Well, I told Jack I'd love to, but I'm working out of town. It wouldn't be fair to the community or the rest of the council for me to be, come home, read a packet and come to a meeting and then split 200 miles away or something like that to go to work. But in 2013, I was retired, and there was a vacancy on the council, and I was appointed by this council to serve with Jack. And pretty much the minute I got on the council, Jack came over with volumes of reading material. And I mean, Jack went through all the files, read every resolution, every ordinance that this city has ever had. I mean, just unflawed commitment to the city. And he wanted me to know as much as he knew. Well, Jack, I got other things to do too, but I committed to reading 2 hours a day, 5 days a week on this file. And it took me 2+ months to get through. Following that, I served as Jack's alternate on Humboldt Waste Management Authority, and the authority was in the process of hiring a consultant to haul the garbage. And it was a big deal. I mean, it was a huge thing. And they had, I don't know, 7 or so different firms applying for it. And Jack got me on this committee that was supposed to review all this stuff. And we spent hours drinking coffee over at his kitchen table, going through all of this stuff. And ultimately, we got the right people. Unfortunately, they went bankrupt. They couldn't do it. But I really enjoyed working with Jack. Finally. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I had the privilege of probably maybe working with Jack longer at Pacific Lumber than I did here in the council, but I met Jack in the mid '80s as he was a machinist, and I was an electrician, and we worked together on joint projects. And for those that didn't appreciate what he did as a machinist, he always referred to he liked to refer to himself as a balancer as he moved on to from the machinist side of it in the machine shop, and he was truly a very skilled man, and that's a high level of perfection to be able to do those jobs. I think that lent over to what he did as a city council member with his perfectionism, and so that's, I think, what part of his nature was to do a great job and to dig into things and to make things work. It was the amount of effort that he put into it, and so I value the time that I spent working with Jack, both council and work time, and I'm truly going to miss him. Great guy.
think we'll all miss Jack and appreciate everything that he did for the city. Right now, the paving, the things that we are able to do for the city, all, so much of it is owed to Jack. And it's really truly appreciated. And we definitely, I enjoy working with them and we'll definitely miss them as well.
Thank you for all coming.
Thank you.
And you with you. Thank you.
Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not allowed under the Ralph M. Brown Act. Items requiring council actions now listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration, the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an emergency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Go.
First one in the world.
I know.
Honorable Chairman, Honorable Council, it's nice to be back since COVID happened and we were all sequestered to our own homes, and that Zoom thing, I hated that thing. That was terrible. But I'm glad to see we have everybody back. We have a new face here. Welcome. And I guess we have a new lawman in town. And
Yes.
yeah, and I just want to hereby state that my days of being a miscreant are over. And I see higher things. I'm concerned about our water table problems. My house, they have the legalized grow areas. I live right across the river. And I know last summer, my faucet sputtered a little bit. I ran a little more water than usual. And it happened again when I ran a kind of a test this year. And so it looks like I'm going to have to try to lower my pump down about another 12 feet and to avoid that problem. But it is a concern. I know you guys share that concern. And I don't know if the marijuana industry is contributing much to that. I know that the plant itself loves a lot of water. And so it's a matter, I don't know, we may have to face some hard decisions here in the future about how much water is being used by that industry. Cattle industry, same way, you know, they use a lot of water. 30 for milk, 31 gallons of water per gallon of milk. A pound of beef, I don't even know how many gallons of water. But yeah, and I know we're going to have to face some tough choices, and we'll just have to face those as we come, because obviously I don't have answers for that. This drought seems to be affecting everyone. But thank you for your time, and I need to go and have dinner, so I may have to. I've got company at my house, so I'm going to excuse myself. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come down and speak.
Thank you.
Any hands raised? Any emails? Rich, anything?
Yeah.
Come on.
Except that we're provided.
Rich Newman, and it's great to be here and to see all your faces, though you might not want to see mine. But anyway, glad to be back.
Glad to see you're ready.
And glad you guys are back.
There's somebody we can always count on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Our one
Loyal customer.
I can mess any day down.
Move to the consent calendar. Is there anyone who would like to pull any item from the consent calendar? Email and hand raised? Okay, is there a motion then to approve the consent calendar? I so move. Have a motion, is there a second? Second. A motion and a second. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, city manager and staff updates, page 27 in our package. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. So we are working on the replacement for the City Hall website. The replacement itself is going to look similar to the current version, with some updated features, including a new method of displaying the agenda management system for the City Council and Planning Commission. Right now, we have a scheduled date of October 6th for the system to go live. We're working just today on the initial design of the website and some features that will be adjusted for the new format, but that is underway. Staff is taking a look at some of the potential modifications to the Rio Dell Police Department. There are some needed upgrades that need to happen down there. We are working with the city attorney to go over bidding processes for the work, but there's some flooring issues and just some painting and general cabinetry changes that we're looking into. And then I'll also remind the council that on September 22nd and 23rd, there will be a virtual Redwood Economic Development Summit. So the city is putting together information for that event that happens annually. We participated, I think, for the past 4 years in one way or another in that event. And I think in terms of our grants, we are undergoing some changes with our city engineer and staffing. And so we are reassigning the project leads for those projects. So in particular, there's 3 main projects coming up. One is the Eel River Trail, non-motorized trail between Edwards and Davis Street. We'll be reassigning the project lead for that. There's also a gateway beautification project. We will probably be looking at a third-party landscape architect to help us through that process. Somebody who has expertise in plantings in particular, but is able to execute the overall project, which also includes exercise stations. And then we also have upcoming the Ireland Street, what is commonly referred to as a dog park, but it is a mixed-use park facility that will also include some basketball amenities and other features incorporated into the project. So we're kind of changing teams on those 3 projects, but I don't think there's going to be any substantial delays or anything from that. We still have plenty of time to put those packages together and see construction during 2023, the summer of 2023. So we're excited to move those projects forward. Other than that, unless the council has any questions for staff, happy to return it back to the mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah. Here it says interviews for police officers position. So we have some people that have applied.
Correct. So we have 3, or actually there were 4 in total, 1 pulled out. So we have interviewed 2 so far. We are scheduling a 3rd interview and we'll kind of move from there. But we do have some prospects for filling the currently vacant position.
And I don't know if now's the time to ask, but somebody who lived up on your street there was asking about PG&E lines.
Yes. So unfortunately, it looks like there is a gas leak under or immediately adjacent to some of the new paved areas on Cherry. So Pacific Gas and Electric has done a USA and marked out some of the other utilities in the area in anticipation of having to dig that out. And so I think, this is an unfortunate and unforeseen, circumstance. And I think staff is going to have to really be on top of PG&E to make sure that when they go and do that patch, that it's done correctly. So it's compacted and set appropriately. There shouldn't be, there's really no excuse for it to be anything other than a good, patch job. So I don't know if Randy has anything else to add to
I will
that.
be on site and they do that. And it will be done correctly.
So when we do something like that, do we ask PG&E to come up first and look before we go ahead and do it, or is that?
So we have not asked, but I'm not sure if this is a situation that existed prior or if it is
Oh, okay.
something that resulted as a result of the construction.
Oh, thank you.
And it isn't all along, it's just like one, spot.
The current markings are actually the utilities that are in the road, and there's an intersection on the service line and the main that goes to the house. It's 265 or something like that. Anyway, it's that service line that has a split in it. So just a small spot. This is about everything, so the one that's to.
Thank you.
Just one more. Randy, going down along Wildwood down at the other end, we have, I'm not sure, they look like electrical boxes or something that have been graffitied on. There's, I think it's Painter Street, it's the green one that's got graffiti all over it. What are those boxes that are making? Then there's another one down that has a meter on it on plywood.
Oh, down by the bus stop. Those are the powers for the sign and the LED sign and the lights for the sign.
Okay,
So they start there, they go across into the median, down the median to the entrance of the Rio Dell sign.
okay, thank you.
Councilmember, Carter?
No question.
Okay, sorry about that. Councilmember Wilson?
No question.
And then I have no questions, so thank you, and we will, are there any, Rich, did you have any questions?
You?
Are there any hands raised? Any emails? Okay. And we will close the city manager staff update and move on to the second reading by title only and adopt ordinance number 395-2022, organic reduction and recycling. Page 30 in our packet. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes and members of the council. As you're aware, we last had the first reading back on July 19th of this year for this particular ordinance. It is required by SB 1383 and is in compliance with our obligations in regards to that. So just a quick summary. The city has received approval for a 5-year waiver from many of SB 1383's requirements. However, some of those requirements do remain and are related to mostly education outreach of commercial edible food recovery and building and landscape codes for new construction. So the attached ordinance addresses those issues. And because Rio Dell's existing food business inventory is limited, most, if not all, of those businesses do not meet those criteria. So the impacts of the business community at this point in time are anticipated to be light, and thus there's not going to be necessarily a whole lot of enforcement in that regard. But there will have to be demonstrable public outreach efforts that we will be including in the newsletters and that sort of thing. So with that, unless the council has any questions for staff, I'll try to answer them and return it back to the mayor and see if there's any further questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep mentioning that the 1383 is actually a big deal. It does not get, I think, the attention that it needs to the public. You know, we talk about it here, we talk about HWMA, but it's gonna be something that's eventually it will come to the place where you have to have another means of taking edible food waste and putting it into your garbage. And how that works with universal pickup, that's probably one of the big reasons that we're gonna need to move ahead with universal pickup. And then how that's processed through HWMA to turn it into compost is all being figured out. So the Eureka and Arcata and the county will do a lot of the groundwork ahead of us, and we can follow it in their steps. But the fact that we are doing the due diligence shows the state that we're doing everything we can. Otherwise, we can be fined a considerable amount of money. So as a city, the responsibility falls to the jurisdictions themselves, not HWMA, but to Rio Dell, which is so I guess stay tuned, because you're going to hear a lot more about it. It's just the way it is. Thank you for your pursuit.
Thank you. Councilmember Carter?
Yeah, not a question so much, just to kind of go off what Councilmember Wilson was saying. Just gonna reiterate the importance of public outreach and education. I think nobody knows what this is unless they sit in on these meetings. And so, yeah, newsletter, if we're ever gonna do like a public forum question and answer thing, I'd be more than happy to come down and be part of that. So just volunteering for that. But yeah, any way we can help, I would love to help, but I do think we have to tell people what's happening. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson? I'm sorry. W, I'm looking at you.
No, I think I'm.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
No questions, Mayor.
And I agree with the outreach plan. I think newsletters are good. If we have to do a flyer, and as Councilmember Carter said, if we do a forum, maybe we can get someone from Ill River or whatever entity we need to be is that's directly related, that can give us information, give the citizens information. That would be a really good time to. So, are there any hand raised or emails? Have anything, Rich? Okay, then, is there a motion to approve and adopt resolution, ordinance rather, 395-2022, organic reduction and recycle?
So moved.
You have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
You have a motion and a second. Motion carries 5-0. Now we move on to council reports. Councilman Carter?
I actually don't have my reports. Our nuisance abatement committee meeting tomorrow is canceled, so if anybody's listening and was gonna come to that, don't come to that, come to the next month one. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
Thank you, comments. I think 2 meetings ago, I brought up the topic of a mural here at City Hall, and I think we probably need to. There wasn't a consensus or to do that, but I think maybe to have an ad hoc committee or the Walkability Beautification Pride group committee might fall in their hands. But somebody with more artistic appeal than I have, and I'm a stick figure guy.
That might be interesting. People would love.
Anyway,
Would you like to say something?
yeah,
Can I ask one question? So when you're talking about a mural here at City Hall, where are we talking? I mean, across the front of the building?
well, I think maybe on the end by the police department.
Oh,
I think that would be the most visible.
it's called.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everyone amenable to that conversation?
I am.
Yeah.
That's a referral to the beautification committee, is that?
A referral or?
Yeah, that'd be.
Referral?
Okay.
Works for me.
Okay,
Let me know.
yeah, okay. Okay, and
That's all I have.
okay, so you have, and then Councilmember Wilson,
That's all I have. Nothing.
Councilmember Woodall.
Oh, I just wanted to say that the Wildwood Days was a really nice Wildwood Days. I mean, it's the best it's been in a long time. It was so nice to see the community out and about. The volunteer fire department, I can't praise them enough how fast they pulled that together. I mean, 3 days before, I'm thinking, oh my God, they can't do it. But the day, they've got it all done. Our businesses were great. DJs puts on a wonderful barbecue, brought a lot of people down. What's Mary's last name? Mary the cars, Mary Bird.
Oh, Burns.
That had a wonderful car show. 101 donated things. It was just nice. It was great to see everyone out, and I hope we can do that again. And it was the first, I mean, Greg was in the parade, but afterwards he was down in the park and milling around, and it was wonderful. People were coming up to him and talking to him. And, he was interacting with them, and that was good to see too. That's what we need. And I went to my Humboldt Transit Authority meeting, and wasn't much, but the one good thing is ridership is building back up after COVID, and it has to build back up, because if they don't use their fare boxes, they'll cancel routes. So it's going in the right direction, and that's all I have.
Thank you, and I have nothing to report. I just want to have my dear best friend Nancy Kurtz had a little accident, health scare, and so, yay, she's filling up, and I just wanted to wish her well, tell her I love her. That's all I have. There's second.
Yes, second.
Meeting adjourned until September 6th.
You talked to me about that last time.